Hey, I'm Bryony Kennedy, the founder of Adorn Cosmetics, and today I'm going to show you one of my favorite go-to looks when I'm a little bit time poor, but I also want to wear a bit of color. So I often will wear the same eyeshadow color on my cheeks, and sometimes I'll even put it on my lips. So today I'm going to showcase the Rose Quartz eyeshadow. I know so many of you have got that shade now. It's one of my favorite colors, and it's really complementary to most skin types and eye shapes as well. So let's get started with this complete look. This is one that you could wear every day, or if it's out of your comfort zone for an everyday look, you might even like to use this for a nighttime look as well. So I'm going to quickly spritz my face with the rose water because, as we know, if the skin's a little bit more damp, it will take on the properties of the Day Primer Moisturizer, and it will allow that to penetrate and hydrate the skin more. So I'm going to pop the primer moisturizer on now. And just let that soak in for a bit. I always like to put the rest on my hands because, of course, the hands do also cop a lot of the environmental stresses and also can show, fine lines and obviously look a little bit more crepey. So it's great to put residue skincare on the backs of your hands. I'm also going to now use the antioxidant day oil. You may have the calming oil, or you may have the acne or the blemish oil, whatever oil you'd like to use right now, the facial oil. Pop that on, and you might find that you don't want to put it all over your face. Maybe just put it on the dry areas of your face or the problematic areas. That's up to you. But I like to put it all over my face. But I do avoid the eyes, because if you're going to put too much skincare around the eyes, especially when you want to wear eye makeup, you may find that it does not last the day. You'll find possibly that your eyeliner or your mascara may smudge. So try and avoid putting any of the skincare around the eyes. Okay, leave all of that for an evening. All right, so the products that I'm going to use today are focusing on the loose minerals. So I find these a lot more forgiving if you're not great at blending, and maybe the colors are a little bit harder for you to blend. Maybe you're in between colors. So I do find that with foundations especially, that the loose are a little bit more forgiving in respects to the colors, and they are easier to blend. Also, you've got the SPF. Now, with this particular look, because it's really quite simple, I'm going to put my makeup on my skin first. If you were doing a full eye look or something that was quite dark, or maybe you just struggle with your eyes, you can always do your eye makeup first so that you can wipe any fallout off the under part of your eye. And then when you're happy with your eyes, do your makeup on the skin after. But this is quite a simple look, and the eyeshadow I'm using is quite a medium tone, so I don't feel that it's necessary that I have to do my eyes first. So I'm just stippling or pushing the foundation into my skin. And again, if you would prefer a lighter coverage, you can, of course, use our blush bronzer brush. Okay, so you can use this brush if you would prefer a lighter coverage with your foundation, or you can use bigger buffing strokes. So bigger buffing strokes will give a lighter coverage, but pressing it on like I am gives us a heavier coverage. And I do recommend pressing it over the eye anyway, because no one wants to stretch the eye skin any more than it needs to be. So it's quite a delicate area. Now, you could use this particular foundation over the top of one of your liquids. You could use it over the BB. You could use it over the cream foundation if you really wanted extra coverage. That's totally fine as well. But the loose minerals are definitely my go-to on a daily basis, because it's non-comedogenic, which means it allows the skin to breathe and function as it should. So it will still allow the skin to sweat. You just blot that sweat off, which leaves the makeup on still. It's the longest wearing because it works in synergy with the skin. You've got the SPF factor of 20+, which is great. Of course, if you're laying around in the sun, still use a sunscreen. And for most of us, we need to put the foundation down our necks, okay? Because our décolletage or chest area is usually the darkest, then our face, and then our neck. So you do need to pop it on your neck. I like to put a bit on my ears and behind my ears as well. Really making sure this is blended. And really, why wouldn't you put this down your neck if you're getting that SPF 20 plus? You know, like protect the skin. I even dust a bit on the backs of my hands as well, just to give, look how nice and even that looks. And also if you're driving around, why wouldn't you just give a little bit of protection for the back of your hands? All right, so I'm happy with that coverage. I could do another layer if I wanted to make it heavier, but I'm happy with that. So you can build up with these minerals. Now, that was the medium olive color that I use. I could use the light to medium as well, but bearing in mind that I often talk about going a little bit darker if you can. It still needs to be the same tone or base, so a pink or a yellow base or more neutral. So as long as you get that right, if you can go a little bit darker, it always looks a little bit more youthful and healthier, because darker foundations will help hide large pores, fine lines, scarring and things like that. So if your foundation is too light for your skin, it's going to draw attention to those areas, which we don't want, okay? So the next step for me at this point is going to be doing my eyebrows. I always comb them first. Now this brush comes in both of the brush sets that we've got in the 15 piece or the 7 piece. I like to comb them because it separates the lashes or the brow hairs, and it allows the brow dust to sit on the skin and adhere better, and also give a more natural look. Now you can apply your brow dust wet or dry. And again, this tutorial is more an overall tutorial on a particular look. I'm not focusing so much on how to get your eyebrows correct. If you want to watch a tutorial for that, just head to the tutorial page and search for that one, and it will show you my paint by number technique on how to correctly put your brows on for your face shape. And there's tips around doing that to make your nose look smaller, bigger, your eyes look further set, closer set. So there are some little tricks and tips there that you may enjoy listening to. Now the brow dust that I'm using is the Peggy. It's my favorite color. It suits most people. And again, pick a color that either matches your hair, or if you've got dark hair, a shade lighter. And if you've got light hair, maybe half a shade to a shade darker, just to give that nice natural contrast. So that's just given a really nice structure to my brows. Now we don't want our brow dust to go any further than the edge of our eye, because it's going to give you a droopy looking eye. So make sure that doesn't go too far down. If you've got any hairs down there, pluck them away, ladies, so that it gives you that really nice lift to the eyebrow. And if you can give yourself a little bit of an extra arch, you know, up the top, that's going to give the illusion of a lift. Okay, so that was the brow dust. Again, water resistant, so if you are going to go swimming or something like that, awesome, you don't have to worry about them coming off. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is my eyes, and I'm going to finish off my skin after. So what I mean by that is I'll finish off my contouring, my blush, etc. after I've done my eyes. So the first thing that I'm going to do is pop on a little bit of the eye prep and blend. Again, this awesome mineral organic product will just help to neutralize all of the veins, which there's a lot on the eyelid. It will also help give a more even appearance to the eye, so that the eyeshadow is not distorted by those veins, and it'll also make things easier to blend. So your eyeshadow will be much easier to blend with this cream-based product underneath, making it even easy for novice eyeshadow applicators to get it right. Now I'm going to finish off with the concealer afterwards because I may inevitably get a little bit of fallout, so I want to be able to wipe that away. So I don't think that putting your concealer on at this point is basically just leave that, because if you're putting your eyeshadow on, you want to be able to wipe that away and not waste time putting the concealer on first. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to do is use my shortest round dome brush and the rose quartz. Okay, so for those of you that haven't got rose quartz yet, I'll just show you. It's such a pretty color. It sort of borderlines a pinky plum, and again, it suits so many people. So I'm just using this short dome brush from the kit. I've dipped in a bit, and I always use my lid. I don't tap off it. I never tap my brushes for excess. I always push the product into the brush, okay? So that I've got an even distribution of it. And now all I'm going to do is just pop this into the crease. So that there's a couple of things you could do here. You could just leave it as a crease like this, or you could do a full eyelid color. That's completely fine. I'm not a big fan of just leaving it on the eyelid. I do think you need to blend it up to the brow bone. Now, a tip for the people who have hooded eyes or excess skin, you need to blend this up onto the brow bone up here. So not just in the crease, right up onto your brow bone. So imagine I've got hooded eyes. I want you to put this right onto the brow bone. Don't worry about blending it. Just get your crease is just getting bigger than, say, what my crease would be. So you're putting it in start in your crease, and then I want you to push and, well, not even blend, just push that color onto your brow bone. Now, if you, again, are doing a full eyelid, that's fine. The same principle. Put it all over, press it all onto the eye, and then very gradually, you're following your eyebrow out and up. So you don't want eyeshadow up here. You want to follow the brow. See how I'm following the brow, and then I'm heading out with the brow. And I'm placing that, hooded eyes or not, you can place it on the brow bone, and then we'll blend away that line in a minute. Now, by blending it up and over the brow bone, it's going to give the illusion that you actually have a really even eyelid, and it's going to actually make that area look more sunken back because it's slightly darker, giving the illusion of the eyelid and a nice crease and hiding the hooded eye. So this is a really simple technique for everybody that wants a bit of color in their day, doesn't want to go to too much effort with their eyeshadow, and in particular, it's a great one to help reshape your eyes so that they are more even and I suppose more that almond shape. So heading over to the other side, I'm just pressing that color. Look how beautiful that color is. I really love that. Onto the brow bone. And I'm just going to blend it into the crease a little bit now. And just take it up a bit higher, because when you get your nude color that's going to blend this line away, it's going to drop the color down a bit. So go up higher than you're comfortable with, because the minute you blend with the lighter color, it's going to drop it down anyway, and it's also going to make the color a bit lighter. So go a bit heavier than what you're comfortable. So I'm going to ramp this side up a bit too. It's probably a bit light for me. And just making sure that it's even, okay? All right, so now I'm going to grab my larger brush. You might be happy with just using one color like this, and you might want to just blend the edges of the eyeshadow away with this, okay? That's totally fine, and you do the same in here, or you could add your second color here. But just to keep things simple, I'm just going to use the nude. For those of you that do have a hooded eye or excess skin or crepey skin, just use the base nude. It has no shimmer to it. It will help blend your eyeshadows effortlessly because all of our eyeshadows overlap and self-blend. So see how I'm just very gently tickling the edge of that, and look, looks like I've been blending for ages. So quite often I'll use a technique where I put my darker colors on first and then my lighter colors to overlap them. And there we've got a perfect blended eye, all right? See how though it's dropped it down a lot to what it was? So this is why I'm talking about making sure that that color is a little bit higher and a little bit darker than you're comfortable with, because see how much lighter it is now that I've blended it. All right, again, just popping the nude base. It's always good to have a clean brush that a brush that you just use with your lighter shades like the nude. Now, I probably want this eye is a little smidge lighter, so I'm just going to add a bit more. So just going to put a bit more just into the crease because I don't want to wreck the blending I've done. Yep. So you'll see that I stop and I look at myself. Don't get right in the mirror and look at your eye too closely. Like, you know, just look at yourself and does it look balanced and symmetrical? If you've got one eye that's a bit lower, you know, do you need to lift the shadow up on that eye a bit to give the illusion that that eye is higher? Okay, so don't pick on it too much. Just get it on and just look at the symmetry of it. And no one is looking at you this closely, okay? So don't worry about one little thing that's out of whack. You'll get better and better at it, and it's fine if it's not perfect, okay? Just have a play. All right, so that's done. That's the rose quartz and the base eyeshadow, which is a nude. All right, so now I'm gonna grab my large brush again, which I keep clean, and I'm just gonna wipe away any fallout that might have dropped there. And I'm now going to use the amazing Peachy Sleep. For those of you that have a darker skin, you might want to use the medium tan or the medium olive, or you might want to even try one of the samples of the darker foundations. We will be bringing out some more concealer colors, but if you've got very, very dark pigmented under eyes, or you've got a darker skin, this will not be suitable. You'll need one of the darker ones, but the Peachy Sleep is awesome for combating blue and black on the fairer or medium to fair skins. Now you'll notice that I'm blending this down onto my cheeks a little bit because I don't want to have that two-tone look of concealer and foundation, but I do want the concealer, which is a little bit lighter than my foundation. That's perfectly fine, because doing that or having a slightly lighter one will give the illusion of cheekbones. Like you can see already, it's given some really good structure. All right, so now that I've done that, I'm now going to do my quick contour. We do have the contour stick, and most of you have been absolutely loving that product. But I'm just going to show you a really quick contour using the Autumn bronzer. You might like to use one of the other bronzers, or you might like to use a darker foundation. You might have a spare sample foundation from one of the sampler boxes that you'd like to use. So basically this technique can be used with any product that's got a brown or a golden sort of brown look to it, something that's probably a couple of shades darker than your foundation, okay? It doesn't have to be specifically a contour product. All contouring means is that you're giving some structure to the face, and you do that by using a slightly darker product to that of your foundation. So this is the 3 method I talk about, and you'll see that what I'm doing is I'm blending the Autumn bronzer all the way around my hairline and just to this part of my ear, and then down and then back and around my jawline. So giving a 3, and I will put some bronzer on my neck. You don't have to, it's up to you. And again, once you've done this, it's more important to start with getting the shape right. If you feel that you've made it too dark, don't worry about that. I'm just going to show you how to fix that. Just get the color and the depth of it correctly on the face, and then the super duper amazing kabuki brush will come in and fix it for you. All right, so see how on this side of my face, it's just got a really nice sun-kissed, balanced look to it, where this looks lovely, but again, foundation can just give that really flat, one-dimensional look to the face. And, you know, foundation's great at hiding our flaws, but it's also a product that will hide the natural, beautiful elements of the skin as well. So we want some of the breakup of the color. And what we do with the bronzer or your contour product is just use that. And how amazing that that pimple is right in a spot that I can contour over the top of it, because dark things make things look smaller. So never be tempted to put a light concealer on a pimple, because it will make it look bigger. All right, so I might just contour that a bit more to hide that blemish. Okay, and along the jawline gives really nice structure for the neck, especially if you've got excess skin that you're not happy about. Now I'm just putting the extra bronzer down my neck, a little bit behind my ears because I've got my hair back, and sometimes I'll dust over my ears as well. Okay, now if you feel, whoa, it's too much, there's two things that you can do. You can grab your kabuki now and just sweep over the top of it. And you'll see that's automatically blended that really beautifully for me, because the little bit of residue foundation that's on the kabuki will tone down that contour. So see how there's no mistake that you cannot fix without just using a clean brush or one of the brushes like the kabuki in the range. You should never need to start again, okay? Just get the color on, get yourself happy with the depth and the richness of the color, and then you can follow it with a clean brush or something after. All right, so now I'm going to pop on my blush. So what I do with my blush is I like to use two colors, especially when I'm going to do a pop of color. So if you're a bit scared of using a brighter color or a color that is a little bit out of your comfort zone, there is a way you can do that. And basically all you need to do is pick a lighter shade first. So something quite skin-like, which would be like our spring cream or spring loose blush, or even the winter. Okay, so the winter cream. So I'm going to pop the spring, that's my favorite one to use as a base blush. And I just put it on this part of my hand. You can use a brush, you could dab this on your cheeks and blend it in if you wanted to, but I find this technique the easiest. So this part of your hand is very similar to your cheekbone. I blend it together, and then you start with, if you look at the edge of your brow, halfway through your nose. So there, edge of the brow. For most people, this is a good starting point. So I'm just gonna blend that now in a circular motion, feeling my cheekbones. I'm just applying it where I can feel my cheekbones up into the temples. Now, putting a really nice neutral blush up into the temple area gives the face a lift. It straight away looks like you've had, not a face lift, but the face looks lifted. So bring your blush up into the temples. Now, I'm not talking a bright pink or purple, but something that's natural like this. Bring it right up into the temple area because it gives a lift to the face, okay? So now what I'm going to use is the rose quartz. So the rose quartz, as I said at the beginning, I'm going to use this as my all over look today, and I often do this because one, I'm time poor, two, sometimes I can't think of what I want to wear, and I can appreciate you'd be the same. So for me, it's about, okay, what do I want to wear on my eyes? If it suits my eyes, it's going to look gorgeous on my cheeks, unless it's maybe green or something like that. So, you know, bearing in mind that it's got to be a cheek color, but that's why I love some of these pinks and these really beautiful eyeshadow colors that you can multi-purpose use on the cheeks and lips. And then you don't have to worry about your makeup matching, because you know it will, because it's the same color. All right, so while you're getting comfortable with this, or your makeup routine, just stick with colors that you know suit your eyes and put them on your cheeks as well. Or your cheek color, if you love that, use that as your eyeshadow color. Like, look at that rose quartz as a beautiful cheek color. Now, I've used the two, as I said, because by doing that, then the lighter color underneath just gives a little bit more of a blended appearance with the brighter color. So it's like a graduating flush rather than just this one color look, which can make it look quite almost clown-like, I suppose. So if you're wanting bright colors but not so it's so obvious, popping them on the cheeks and then just blending them a little bit over the top is really going to give you a natural graduation of color. And again, if you think, wow, I've got too much, it's too low, and for those of you with narrow faces, you don't want to bring your blush too low because it's going to make you look quite drawn, okay? So you want to really keep it to this sort of area up. So if that's the case and you've just blended it down too far, which I can even do, just grab your kabuki brush and just gently sweep around it. Press over it, just press it, and look at that, it's just blended that for me nicely. This kabuki's magic. You almost probably need a spare one just to wipe away the mistakes. Okay, perfect. So that's a really pretty combination, the rose quartz on the cheeks and the eyes. All right, so I'll show you that on the lips as well at the end. But what I'm going to do now is just put on a product that we have had previously and it's recently launched back, and that is our liquid eyeliner. Now you can use the mascara just by using an angle brush if you wanted to. You just tickle it along the brush end of this and you just pop it on as a liquid eyeliner. So you can use any of the mascaras, in fact, to do that if you would like. You can use the current eyeliners. If you have hooded eyes and you cannot see your lash line when you are looking at yourself straight on, don't worry about liquid eyeliner, okay? You're best off just using something that's more soft and subtle, or no eyeliner at all. You're probably better off perfecting this to give more structure to your eyelid rather than worrying about eyeliner, because the chances are the skin is just going to warm that up and end up here. So don't worry about it if you can't see your lash line. If you can see your lash line and you like the look of the liquid eyeliner and you're trying to, I suppose, master it, again, I just really focus on the outer third of my eye. So I'm going to just put it, so just wipe off any, it's actually its own little brush, and this product lasts, it's water resistant, this one. So I just like to put it on the outer part of my eye. Okay, just like that. Don't worry about trying to do this part of your eye because it's just going to be too difficult for the novice makeup wearers, okay? So the good thing with this brush is it stays straight too, so you can really get your line. All I'm doing is I'm actually pressing this down. I'm actually pressing this down like a stamp. I'm not really running it along my eye at all. I'm pressing it down like a stamp onto my lash line, first of all. And now I will just straighten or pull my eye just a little bit, just to get it a little bit higher. Now this product, being that it's a water resistant one, dries quite quickly, so you do need to work with it quite quickly. So if you're mastering this, maybe do it on a day that you're not wearing eyeshadow, so that if you do muck it up, you're not upset that you've wasted your eyeshadow, because there is a little bit of a technique involved with this. Again, you can use my stamp method where I just press it on. But if you're wanting to get a bit of a flick like what I'm doing now, you might get a bit upset if you don't get it right and you've gone to all that effort of your eyeshadow. All right, so practice it on a day you're not wearing your eyeliner, or sorry, your eyeshadow. And all I'm doing now is I'm just stamping it and I'm just making it a little bit higher. And really closely to my lashes. I'm popping a bit there because this eye, a little bit, that's better. This eye's a little bit lower than that one, so I've just had to put a bit of eyeliner there to give it a lift. Perfect. Okay, so there's a really easy liquid eyeliner. Okay, so that's an organic product of ours. It does last quite a while and you'll need like an oil-based remover to get that off. So of course our pre-cleanse is perfect. And as I said, stamping it on rather than running along is the way to use this. It's really beautiful. Again, just practice it without eyeshadow first. Okay, so now I'm going to quickly curl my lashes, put my mascara on, and then I am going to use the Rose Quartz as my lip color. So curling my lashes. Okay, and now I would put my lash primer on, my mascara on, but rather than do that on the video, I'm now just going to pop the Rose Quartz on my lips to show you. Now, if your lips are a little bit dry, I'd recommend putting on our balm at the beginning, so either our lip balm or our soothing barrier balm, just to give it a really nice moist appearance, more plump appearance. If you don't have any issues with that, you could just put the Rose Quartz on straight away. Now, I'm just using my finger, but you could use one of the brushes out of the 15-piece brush kit, and that's this particular brush here, the number 10 I think it is, this one here. So I'll show you how to do that. You could actually use it with a wet brush to get it on. Use your rose water, wet it with water. Maybe you might want to rub this on even the lip balm to give a creamy appearance to the Rose Quartz. It's up to you. I've just wet this with the rose water, and by putting it on with a brush, obviously you can get a really good straight line. How beautiful is this color? And what I like about using pure minerals on my lips is that if you haven't got particularly dry looking lips, it just stays on so long because you're just putting a powder on. But the luminescence of the eyeshadow gives the illusion that it's wet looking, like a lipstick. And again, this is subjective. You're not going to necessarily be able to do all of the colours. You're not going to put a chocolate quartz on your mouth. But that, look how pretty that is. That is such a nice combo. And this is why it's one of my favorite go-to looks. Eyes, cheeks, lips, done. And you could definitely put one of the glosses over the top if you wanted to, but almost why would you? And then to finish off my look after I've done my mascara and things like that, I then grab the mineral highlighter and I just pop a bit in my temples. This is a really good tip, especially for those of you that do have quite sunken in temples. Maybe you've got a narrow face, or maybe a more mature person. As we do age, the temples do tend to sink in a little bit, and so putting the illuminizer on that area and over the top of your cheekbone not only makes that look a bit more full, but it also gives the illusion of higher cheekbones. And you can also pop this along your forehead for a more healthy glow, but not if you have wrinkles up there. If you've got prominent wrinkles, miss that step. The other place I like to use this is just on the top of my Cupid's bow. because that gives the illusion of bigger lips and more of a pout. And you could also put it in the center of your lip. Again, doing that gives the illusion of more of a pout. Now, if you were to pop that over the top of a loose mineral lip like I've done now, I'd recommend probably putting the balm over it just to give more of a smooth appearance, but that will definitely give a more poutier look to the center of the mouth. If you've got quite a thin nose, you could even put the illuminizer down the middle of your nose as well. So there's my one product color for eyes, lips and cheeks. The rose quartz was the hero of this particular video. Of course, I've also shown you how to use the liquid eyeliner as well, which I'm sure you will enjoy. Remember to place it on like a stamp. And of course, if you feel that you need to, you can always finish off your look with the rose water to give a more dewy appearance, or for those with more oilier skin, you can finish off this look just by putting a little bit of the oil control setting powder, maybe just down your T-zone. Thanks for watching.